All right, we're good. I don't see anyone else on board. All right, so the first item on the agenda is approve the minutes from the November 15th, 2023 meeting.
There's a misspelling in Mary Akari's name.
Oh, thank you. Where is it?
It's right after the 5 p.m. Mary IA, it's supposed to be AI.
Ah. You are so right. Mary didn't even correct me.
You didn't even read it.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, anything else?
I thought I had them just an inclusion item for it, to be mentioned about the provision of the outline that we received. That came from the board of select board about the, what they're looking to get. So the phrasing I had was, providing the profile. Yeah. What they see as the ideal candidate. I didn't know if that needed to be included or, I mean, it is on video, so. But.
Well, what do you think?
It's not,
Honestly.
Yeah.
We've all, I think the most important thing is that the board reviewed it, they felt comfortable with it enough to put it up on the website.
Yeah.
Hello.
No, you can lock it. You can lock it. Thank you. Yeah, I agree. Like, so with the correction of Mary's name, can I get a motion to accept the minute?
I move we accept the minutes as corrected.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Great. All right, discuss interview questions.
I have, this is kind of a stupid question at this point. Is this something that should be done in executive session? Because we're gonna be putting this up on the town website.
The questions don't meet the standard for executive session.
Oh, boy.
So they have to be, in, they have to be in public session. If we feel that, quite frankly, people knowing the questions doesn't change who they are. If we feel that people have gotten the questions, sometimes we issue the questions the day before, so everybody has the same playing field. We've seen it many different times where there's somebody who comes to a meeting so they can get the questions. Everybody has equal opportunity to view the video. So, we can let them know that. Most candidates know that these things are in public session, so they will search them out. If the committee feels they don't want anybody to have an advantage one way or another, we can mail them out. If we do that, I do that 24 hours ahead of when their interview is scheduled. Now, they may have, one of the reasons people don't like to record meetings is for that, but the meetings are posted that way, so you can't stop the recording when I step off. But that's just the reality of it. And you may want to, when you have your conversations tonight, narrow it down, and then we can, you can authorize Mike and I to finalize. But either way, it's all a shell game. It really doesn't, it doesn't make a significant difference in the talent of the people who are applying. Them knowing the questions doesn't change much.
And
So
the
it's really up to you.
anyone who's interviewed more than once in their life is familiar with the basic questions anyway.
Exactly. You're right. I don't think that it changes much. And,
It's the answer kind of help. It's how the answers is really the issue.
Yeah, all right.
and some say there's different theories, some say giving them the questions takes away a little bit of the nervousness that might fool us about if they're nervous. So sometimes it gets at their true self. However, the role of a town administrator is you're thrown into situations where you need to be surprised. So we can go either way on it. So I'm not able to stay for this meeting. You can see I am in beautiful Orange Town Hall, the town of Orange. It's not colored orange. I would like to, I have full faith that you all are gonna work out the question issue. I want to pin down, our date. Now, I hadn't heard from everybody before today. It looks like, and I just heard from somebody today who gave me their preference for Thursday. Other people can't do Thursday. It looks like our meeting needs to be this Monday, the 4th at 5 p.m. Is there anybody who cannot make that?
Can't do that. Have a-
Okay.
And how long will that last?
I was gonna ask a question.
Well, not long, probably an hour at the most.
My question is because I teach a class on Mondays at 7, I start at
Oh,
7.
no, we'll be out, if we start at 5, I believe the room is only open till 6:15, available till 6:15. I will tell you the number of resumes received so far. The deadline is tomorrow. I'm sure I'm gonna get more. You're gonna be able to have time to review those and decide who you want to bring in. So I think we can do it in an hour and 15 minutes.
Okay.
Now what my plan is, and it will be a quick turnaround, but there's not many. As we say, we don't go for volume, we go for, specific interest and qualifications. What I will do is I will send you a zip folder and or a link to the resumes and a form to fill out with your ratings of yes, maybe, or no, to say, yes, we want to meet this person. I'm not sure, maybe, and definitely a no, we don't want to meet this person. If I have that in hand by Monday at noon, we'll have that result and we'll start the meeting that way. Because if we have 7 yeses, we don't even need to talk about the candidate. We know we're going to bring that person in. If we have 7 no's, we're not going to bring that person in. So if people have, an hour or 2 over the weekend to look at these, we should be in good shape for Monday. Does that, Sean, you had preferred another day. Can you not do Monday?
Well, I can do December 4th at 5 o'clock. That's no problem.
Okay, so it was that David, my eyes are not that good. David, are you not available?
It's Monday, I can't do it.
Okay,
That's
so
a fifth, right?
if I,
Oh, the 4th, all right.
Yeah.
Monday's the- All right, okay. I can do that. I thought you said the 5th.
You can do the 4th, Mary.
Yeah. 'Cause
okay, so that's what I thought. So everybody can it's gonna be, this coming Monday at 5 o'clock at the police department.
Mhm.
And what I will do is get you the packet of resumes as soon as possible. The deadline's tomorrow night at midnight, so it won't be tomorrow. But there aren't so many that you won't be able to get through them. So that way we can be efficient on Monday and decide, then we'll see the dates that we have held, I think is going to be fine for the interviews. So the dates we have held, I put it in the email today, are Monday, the 11th, Wednesday, the 13th, and Friday, the 15th. So that should cover us. So I think we're going to be successful in getting all the interviews done. So you all have worked really hard to make yourselves available, and we really appreciate that.
Okay, and I just want to say that the 11th and the 13th will be at Clough School in their conference room. And the 15th, we can have it at Town Hall because Town Hall is closed on Fridays.
Perfect.
So the 11th is Monday,
Yep,
the 11th, and the time again on
I
that?
think that was 5 to 4
It's 5 to 7. That was in the email from today.
following Monday.
And then,
Yeah.
And
So
then the
Monday-
13th was 5 to 8.
I'll check, Mary.
I have it as Monday, the 11th from 5 to 7, Wednesday, the 13th from 5 to 8, and Friday, the 15th from 1 to 4. Does that work for everybody?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, so
All
you
at the
guys are,
Clough School?
No. Monday, Wednesday, Clough School, Friday at Town Hall.
Thank you.
great. All right, so all you have left to do is do those questions. So that's wonderful. I leave that to you all to handle that. Mike, I don't know whether you and the chair have worked out who's making the notes and whatnot, so we can
I'll make-
find, okay. But there's a lot of questions to go through, so it might be, I don't know whether, Ellen, you have the ability to share your screen on this if you go to the Zoom meeting?
I don't
I
even-
leave it to all of you to figure it out.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna sign out. Bye, friends. Thank you so much for everything. I really appreciate it.
Mary.
And I'll see you in person on Monday.
Thank you, Mary.
You already
Bye.
got- You could share your screen.
I just gotta join the meeting.
Hmm?
I gotta join the meeting.
Oh, right, you'll have to join the meeting.
So I suggest, we have the list of questions. We have not gotten many additional questions. I think you submitted some
Yes, I
questions.
did.
I did.
Ellen submitted, and haven't seen yours.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I sent it to Mary directly.
I
Okay,
sent it
yeah.
mine too.
I got yours because you CC'd me. So I think we have a list, but you don't, have you guys seen the list?
Yes. Oh,
I've
not
got
the
it.
finalists, no.
Okay.
So maybe you can share your screen, but then you'd have to.
No, I don't know how I can share my screen.
You'd have to log into the
Hang
meeting.
on one second, let me find out what day I'm on.
But you don't have the
I don't have the latest question.
edited list, right?
Yeah, this is tough. Because I don't have access to the, whoever is the driver of the Zoom has to give me permission to share my screen.
That's me.
If you have,
It's in Teams, it's not Zoom.
Yeah, it's Teams.
all right, let me try.
So the Monday that's 5 to 7, that's the 11th.
The 11th.
Oops.
Okay, Phil.
Thank you, Mom.
Microphone's on.
Yeah.
My phone.
That's all.
Who was our guest? It's Mark.
Thank you. Not a good button. Appreciate it.
Give me the creeps.
It is pretty big.
All right, so now I need to give you permission to share your screen,
I gotta find this invite first.
but
I gotta
you,
share here. I can-
but you don't have the final draft of the, he has it.
Who is the Mark that's the guest?
It's a guest.
But are we-
I could guess, but I don't know exactly who it is. It's somebody outside of this room. 'Cause it's a public meeting.
Oh,
View. Share.
I'll just share.
You can,
So, if I can get the file. Oh,
yeah. See if it lets you share.
Pretty much getting one of our tabs.
As soon as when you get that.
Yeah, but you just have to turn your,
You're in, so you can share this. I can get out.
Yes.
Oh.
Oh, Mike, what?
Mike.
oh, yeah.
That's good.
Interesting.
That's
That's better.
Yeah,
yep.
definitely.
Okay,
That works.
now,
Otherwise.
how do I, who's,
Up at the top of
Yeah.
the screen should be a
Can't make
share
this stuff
screen,
up.
Okay.
next to your microphone, up on the top of the screen.
Wow.
gonna get there,
That's okay.
yeah.
Hey, you're talking to somebody that only used pencils back in the day.
An occasional needle or two, right?
A lot of needles.
Okay, so
Right there.
share,
Okay, you have your,
document. I have it on camera. We want share screen.
Share. Share.
So we're just discussing the numbers, but putting it up on.
Yeah, get the document up. and that's-
So
that's
we're
where
just
you share.
discussing the numbers, putting it up.
I got the document up.
You do share, it'll ask you to share screen
Share content.
or content, okay?
Share screen window or tab. Share content.
Going through it. Is it a Mac thing?
No, is that a Mac?
Yeah.
Good, it's sort of,
We need permission to share your screen.
Okay, how do I give her permission?
I don't know if you want to do it.
Meeting info.
Yes.
Maybe you're doing share screen.
It just took me off. Crazy. Is there any way we can print? If I email it to you, if you run over and get printed
Yep.
copies, it's probably
do
easier because then
that.
people can keep notes.
Yep. Sounds good to me. Email it to me and I'll print it next door.
You're the best.
Thanks.
I'm so happy I said you should be the chair.
Yeah.
The rest of us, what would we do? We couldn't do it, you know?
Definitely. Good culture.
There you go. So anyway, I think. moving along.
That's, President can be the Monday meeting as well.
He's gonna go there. I'm shortly after we decide, so that's fine, so. Okay.
Unless you want to just bring your laptop. Do you have a laptop, Ellen?
Yep.
Might be easier. That'd be sweet.
I've done those type of things too. though.
And they think it's coming. They know.
Oh, yeah,
And then they say, well, what is it?
What's
I'll just kind of. Stuff.
Okay,
Yeah, I actually texted
you got it.
three guys. So I thought I was talking to my wife. I guess I'm fine. I was like, okay. I didn't mean to send that.
So I told him right away.
Yeah,
Good
good move.
The direction at the meeting.
So while she gets that up, I think, really, you each pick three. I think the most time you'll have is to ask two. With 7 people, it's really hard to get 14 questions in an hour, especially if they're a verbose type. So I would focus on 2 questions each. And I'm not sure if you made this decision. I saw some notes back and forth, but you could do it one way we've done it is that the chairperson or a delegate asks all 14 questions, and each member of the committee can opine or have follow up on that specific question if they feel a portion wasn't answered or if they want a little bit more. Or another way is to do round robin and each take 2 questions in a rotation 7 and 7. Yeah, that's the easy, that's a pretty even way to do it. But the key is consistency and asking, treating all candidates the same, asking them the exact same questions. Now, you can do a one-off because you might want to pry for some additional information that you wouldn't get from the confines of the generic question. But keep in mind,
The one-off term means what, Mike?
means a follow-up question.
Okay.
So, David asks a question. 6 people might say, okay, I got what they're saying, but you might not. You say, I want to dig a little deeper here and go that, but be cognizant of the time limitation, because you don't want to have one person answer 7 questions and another answer all 14. So it's kind of
What's your time cycle per applicant?
usually an hour in the first phase. It could go longer with the select board, but usually an hour is a good period. And you should leave. Well, I think, they may want to, I would only leave them 4 or 5 minutes at the end for this committee to ask any questions about the town. It's way more important that they have that dialogue with the select board, who they'll be working closely with, to leave 10 minutes or so at that phase when they get to the finalist phase, because in fairness, they're going to want to ask questions in a public setting.
What do you think about an introduction from them to this group?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
good.
good. Nice.
Please
Yeah.
tell us about yourself.
3 to 5 minutes max, and then, yeah.
Oh, frame, that's good. Go ahead.
Actually, the questions I submitted after looking at this again, I think that they would be more appropriate for the board to ask.
Okay.
Because there's something behind that I would be looking at if I were a board member.
No, I liked your questions.
All right,
Well,
well,
that's probably good.
Yeah. But they're not on here. They didn't make they didn't make the list, but we can add them as we discussed today.
yeah,
Are the interviews going to be recorded?
With this group,
Yes.
not in the screening phase.
second session.
Okay.
Yeah, to protect, once they're brought forward as a finalist, they will agree to make their name public at that point.
Understood.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering
There we
because
go.
it'd be nice to have a transcript to
Yeah.
refer back to, but that's not appropriate. Okay, understood.
Can you see that?
So,
Oh, boy, blow that, yeah. Blow it up and I'll share with Joyce here.
Okay.
hey, Mike, so the first question that you had, what approach do we want to take? I don't have any strong feelings about asking questions myself. I like the idea of maybe as the chairperson.
I don't like that idea at all.
You don't like that?
I don't.
I was thinking two
If I'm
around.
gonna be honest.
You want to do the round robin?
I
What
think
is
the round
it?
robin's pretty interesting because
I was just reading that and that's what I.
Having me read all
The
the
round robin,
questions.
we just,
you
Each has two.
I'm not
you
into
take
that.
2 of this stuff.
It can be either you ask the questions or us as the consultant ask them for you. So there's really 3 options. You select, it doesn't have to be the chairperson. It could be any of you that's the sole asker. Mary or I could ask the questions, or the round robin. It's really what you're most comfortable with. Round robin might be the most democratic.
I look at the round robin as a way to interact with the candidate, rather than just sitting here blindly. Okay, so yes, and then
Okay.
Yeah, that's why.
It's always interesting to see when somebody's giving an answer, whether they're talking directly to you or whether trying to engage everybody else that's at the table.
It's more of an engagement, that's the way I feel.
knows, being from the school committee, I have questions that are appropriate for the school committee. Do we want to stick to our area of expertise, or is it something
I
that?
think that's a great idea.
Yeah, okay, all right.
I kind of expected you,
Yeah.
you would
I
be doing
think.
just that, yeah.
It was kind of fun because you guys already had questions on there relative to the school committee, so it was very good.
Big part of the budget.
Yeah.
It's
Yes,
interesting.
exactly.
3-minute intro, round robin. And then a couple minutes at the end if they have any questions of the screening committee, with the understanding that you'll tell them, you're just the screening committee, you're not. And those questions are best left for the final decision makers.
Do I get this on line or is that the questions, just so you know, my sister and my wife. So I've been really, trying to do that. So I haven't looked at my emails. I haven't done anything. So, can I have this list of questions?
Email to you?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
And
And
it
then-
looks like she emailed it to Michael and I late this afternoon.
Yes.
Okay, because I just need to have that time that,
So a good way to start might be for Steve to discuss his couple questions that he'd want to ask, and then you guys sign. You know, we really want to get it down to 14 questions.
Okay.
And if we have issues, we should each pick 3, and then we'll vote on which of the 2/3 of the 21 that we're going to select. But I think, Steve, if you want to go,
Oh, you're referring to me?
yeah, oh, Sean, excuse me. You know, you can, I have them here if you want me to read them. If you want me to read them, I have them in
I mean,
front of
there's
me.
one that was already on the list, which is very appropriate, which is the regional school district.
Yeah.
That question is very good.
What questions about experience with a regional school district and in dealing independently elected boards
Yes.
are already, those are the first, okay.
So
Oh,
it's-
we're going to Sean's. All right, I have to bring his tab up.
Then
This is his
I
tabs.
contributed another 2 questions. We can decide which one's appropriate. It was about this, like a 5-year planning, how much experience has the candidate had in a 5-year plan or strategic planning process.
Is that, Sean, a strategic plan or a budget and capital plan? Is it geared financially or is it geared towards a community-wide master?
Well, okay, so
There's 2 separate,
yeah, I
Jim.
understand what you're saying. So it's, I would call it a strategic plan rather than a capital planning or a budget plan. Something that allows the town to understand what expenses are going to come up in the future, what projects are going to come up, and how we attempt to adjust for those, either financially or community-wise. Does everybody agree on that? That was what my,
And your other question was, please give us an example of when you led a budgeting process, the complexities involved, and explain how you conducted it.
right.
Okay.
Is that already covered by another question? But
There are budgeting questions.
You want to go,
Yeah.
can you blow that up, Alan?
I don't know how to maximize the screen here.
I'd say that, up higher on the gray
That's gonna
toolbar.
make it.
Didn't do it, huh? That one?
That one's gonna make it smaller.
Yeah, and that one won't make
Yeah,
it
see,
bigger, huh?
It won't. This makes it bigger. What I'm trying to do is get rid of these toolbars. Let's see, hide the
on
toolbars.
the bottom right of the screen, there's a 100% there.
Yep,
You might be able to hit the plus. Yeah, hit the plus and you'll be able to blow it up a little bit more.
you want the one question blown up and I can just talk.
Oh, that's good.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll toggle down. You want to go through them?
We can go through it, that's fine. Yeah.
Well, these are all Sean. The way she sent this is everybody's input. I don't have, well, do I have
You
the
don't have-
original?
Yeah, Ellen, you have it's under you, I believe.
Oh, the original's under me?
Yeah,
Okay. There we go. Yeah,
so here's all the questions that we typically ask. Describe why you applied, why Mendon,
so that comment is my comment. And I reworded.
your specific experience with indirectly supervising department heads, how you manage them, your experience in comparable. What is your experience in
Oh,
comparable
sorry, let me make
to
that.
the role of the Mendon Town Administrator's position? So where else have you worked in a community like this? Your role in developing municipal and capital budgets, so that's already taken care of, Sean.
Yeah,
Yours will be more towards a strategic plan.
so yeah, number 4 was one that I thought was an important question to be asked.
Work in the, describe why you like working in the public sector.
I think that can be combined with number 1.
Okay,
I had
yeah, I agree.
I said, tell us about yourself and your interest in public service and why Mendon.
Yeah.
Was the open.
Yeah, that's a really good rephrasing.
Right, I think so too, yeah.
and then just write that down. So that would be number 1.
Yep.
Maybe.
We're trying to get down to 14.
Doesn't want to play.
No. Why? Okay, so then we're gonna go down to, we'll get rid of number 5 because that covers, we'll delete that. Describe your human resources, labor and employee relations and collective bargaining experience and skills.
Which I personally like is an important question to ask, not necessarily one that I chose to personally ask, but I thought should be asked.
Okay. This is an example type question. Describe a professional mistake you make, because Dave and Jim and I can all admit to many of them. Yeah. And then in our careers,
I've never admitted to one.
yeah.
He's not-
And what you learn from it and what you do, what you do about it. How
I
you
agree
handle
with
it.
that. I like that one, actually. That was one of the ones I was gonna say.
Okay. Describe a conflict that you had with an elected or appointed official. How was it resolved and what changed, if anything, after it was resolved? So let's put a little shading here. To say,
If we've got to cut this down to 14, maybe that's one that
Yeah, I think.
you should say for the board.
they like
Yep.
this one too. Okay. What professional skills do you have that may set you apart from the other candidates that we will be discussing their interest with in this position?
I would broaden that to say, what skills do you have? And I say that because professional skills may not be people interaction skills.
Yep.
Professional skills may not be things like listening and interpreting. So if you nail the professional skills, you hone me into my job. I'll give you a whole set of different answers. I'm a project manager, I have blah, 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 and I got all these certifications.
Yeah, that's good.
I'd rather see, when you look at skills, the totality of the person rather than credentials.
Okay.
That's an input. You guys can do what you want with it.
No, it's the skills that the person wants to.
What's
Present.
important, what's that?
I agree.
Because that's what they're gonna drive on.
Yeah, I think that's good too.
This is a question I kind of like, but, and Ellen, you,
I suggested an edit,
yeah.
but,
The question was, are you a leader or a manager? Describe why and how. And Ellen's edit was, what is your leadership style and how do you feel this has made you successful?
Oh,
I like
I
this
like-
Yeah, I like that too.
well, thank you.
Leader or manager, sure.
Put it
How I answer that, honestly.
Good, good, good.
How will you evaluate the performance of department heads? How will you help the select board do its job?
So the department head question, the person coming in is going to have to deal with department heads that report to an elected board. So it's not a cut and dry, you may not be able to say that one that's directly reporting to the town administrator, you might deal with that person differently than one that directly reports to the Board of Assessors. Right?
Gotcha. Yep.
So I don't know that it's a finite question. I think they would have to know that some people are not gonna be, they'll be kind of dotted line. They won't be directly reporting to this person.
There is, especially in a town with this, a setup like this, there's a difference between lawful authority and practical authority. Okay? Practical authority is something that you gain over time. So instead of talking about evaluating the department heads, how are you going to get them out of their silos and, get everybody, working? That just takes time. Because you've got
Good question.
a labor issue or a health insurance thing you need, and you've got a bid, for vehicles or something. When they find that you're good to work with and trustworthy, okay? Now you've gained capital. And now you've gained the ability, practical authority
Mhm.
is what you've gained. That's absolutely necessary here.
It is, I agree.
So someone who's able to, sometimes you have to give someone a wide berth, let them do their job. Don't try and micromanage them, but your time, your time will come because, at one point or another, they're all going to be at your desk with an ask.
So on that, Jim, how would you frame the question? Because I like what you're saying. It's more that, we've all been in organizations where there's silos and it's difficult to tear down silos. What strategies have you deployed to make organizations that you've worked in more collaborative?
Ooh. I was stressing over the word silo, which I brought up in the first place, because it's accusatory. But what did you just say? What was your last one?
Collaborative.
What strategies have you
More
deployed
collaborative.
to make
Let's
things?
follow,
Yeah,
okay,
that's good.
let's follow that.
So that
Word somewhere
where
into
you're
the question.
working
Yeah.
with each,
Yeah,
Good collaborative, apply the matrix capabilities, people who don't and do report to you.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the,
Have you implemented or deployed?
That's a key one.
implemented is to me better than deployed. That sounds
To
too military.
Yeah.
organizations.
Also, is that overlapping question 4? Are those similar?
The question 4 is budget.
I'm sorry. It says, describe your experience in directly supervising department heads, how you manage them, and then how will you evaluate the performance of department heads? Just looking if we can consolidate those two. somehow.
I think this one
Yeah.
replaces that.
Which one?
I think this one, the one on strategies you have implemented to improve in previous organizations to make the organization more collaborative replaces how do you evaluate department heads. To Ellen's point,
Good.
this individual, whoever it is, has some direct reports, but also has department heads who report to
So
independent.
does that have the potential of also replacing or superseding, describe your experience in directly supervising department heads and how you manage them?
I think if we combine 2 and what number is that?
Yeah, I'm sorry, it is 2. It is,
And was it 11?
11, yeah, 2 and 11.
Into what Michael's concocting.
That's what I'm saying.
So eliminate 2 and 11 and make
that was
a
my,
new question.
Cover the nonprofit.
2 and number 11 combined, what you just talked about. Yeah.
So number 2 was describe your experience in directly supervising department heads and how you manage them. So we'll get rid of that.
And more about a collaboration.
Yeah.
That would also help with the performance part, I think.
And a follow-up question could be, how do you, have you experience in dealing with direct reports versus reports that report to independent boards or commissions?
yeah, depending what they say, yeah.
Yeah.
True.
Okay, Ellen, we're rolling.
We are rolling, we're on, what are we on, 12?
Yeah, so 12 was, how do you help the select board do its job?
That one, maybe the select board should,
Mm,
yeah,
Yeah, drop
That's
it.
really,
that's a weird
if you're
question.
coming
in my
into the
opinion.
job and you've been doing the job, you know how to make the
Right.
job.
Right,
Just drop it.
I had put
I
out
feel
a-
it's
I put out a new
superfluous.
variation of that question as a new question. How would our select board benefit from working with you? I don't know if that's more to the point. Or not.
Well, we'll see if it makes the cut,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then we can rework it if it's, what do you view as Mendon's biggest budget challenge and how would you address it?
Did you look up then?
Yeah, so that speaks to that. You know, what research have you
Because
done?
the school, the school question's gonna talk to them and.
I think it's a good question because let's see what they've done.
Yeah, they're gonna look at the different, documents online, TLS.
Yeah.
You should ask that.
Yeah, the DLS documents provide a lot of information.
They come a guy in the middle of it, so.
So this one, Sean, was in there, and it kind of is what you said. Please describe your experience in working with schools and in particular regional school systems.
Yeah, that's an
Right,
excellent
that's
question.
So that's gonna stay.
Yeah,
absolutely.
that's
And Sean's
an
asking.
original school,
Whole different bag of worms.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Having
Oh, here's
looked
the-
at three,
Here's question 15, which was my follow-up to the collaboration question. Describe your experience in working with independently elected boards and commissions.
So that's,
Specifically, those who appoint
Yeah.
and further, those who appoint their own department
Right.
heads.
Right.
So that's a possible follow-up to,
The
what was the
collaboration.
number? Yeah, to
well, we gave it a new number, right?
collaborate.
It's
Yeah,
called
I'll go
two-
with the word.
And quite frankly, with regional school districts,
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that is like, that's a huge conflict in some ways. So
Mhm.
Oh, good.
how do you deal with that?
absolutely.
Ideally, it would be the same.
Oh, you keep select board members informed? I think that's a good question. Maybe it's too
I think
simple,
it's too
but.
simple.
But it's a key thing. What, it is, how do you prioritize issues and how do you keep how do you prioritize the issues on a week-to-week basis and how,
So everybody gets the information.
yeah,
It's not just one person, and everything that has to be acted upon through the board has to be a function of a board decision. You can't go up, well, do this for me, do this for me, do that for me.
Isn't there an element of simplifying roll-up and reporting board? Here's
Town administrator report.
Yes, yeah.
This is what I'm working on,
here's a
give me
flash
some
report.
feedback.
Mhm.
You know?
Well, there's more to it. You've got a 5-member board here and they all have different lives and schedules and things like that. And I've had someone who would stop by a couple days a week on his way home from work. And I would have, I had a select woman that had a scheduled time. I had to come in on a Tuesday or something. Others have said, if it rises to the level of, a possible action item or some kind of information that'll go public, just call me when you want, because they don't want to bother. Because
Yeah, they want you to do,
select,
the town.
not yet, not all, exactly, run the town, okay? And not all selectmen are engaged. And they're engaged in their lives first,
Yeah.
and so you just gotta feel,
that
that's your first,
Just,
that-
yes.
that's the new person's first discussion that they have with the selectmen. How do you wanna do
Yeah.
this,
That's good, yeah. Yeah.
So the way I reworded it, Jim, rather than how do you keep select board members informed? How do you prioritize issues that arise? And what systems or what system have you implemented to keep all select board members
That's
informed within the parameters of the open meeting law?
I like that.
Okay.
I like that.
What do you see as the biggest challenge facing municipalities today? They're not gonna say money.
That's
That's
a general.
that's Google Earth stuff.
Too general.
But that's almost like, yeah, it's almost like covered by the question about amendments.
Take it out.
Yeah, that's gotta go.
Describe your communication skills, style, and method across all stakeholders.
I feel like that
We should-
leadership question can
Right.
Okay,
be
That's-
tied in with that, right?
yeah, I won't strike it yet.
No, don't strike it yet.
Please describe your direct involvement and experience working with state or federal regulatory agencies.
How pertinent is that in Mendon right now? Is there,
I mean, I think if you're working with state agencies, it's
No kidding.
either for grants or for, but you have other departments dealing with the stage, right?
Yeah,
Do you do much?
it's a little bit, not a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, really? I love that. We're constantly
It's
working.
generally is about a grant closeout or that kind of thing, that can now come in after the fact and trying to figure out how to close the project out that I wasn't even involved in, you know.
In a town like Mendon, which has challenges, you know, you've got a tax base that, you know, demands are much greater than your ability to fund them. I can see that. So outside money is, you know, community compact money and, you know, the whole plethora of state grant programs.
ARPA.
I'd rather you direct a question at that
Hold that
than regulatory.
Yeah, those were Dave's two questions. Dave had questions on economic development and tell me about your grant writing experience and where have you been successful and for what types.
And I asked a question
Grant
at
writing,
the bottom
big time.
about describe how you applied for and got a competitive grant.
Like that.
So we're gonna replace that question with,
We could also add to it, do you have any experience with DOT, since I'm in that? Just saying.
I know that
No, I
issue.
don't mind.
I know I too.
I can't bring that personal thing in there.
Please describe your experience in grant writing. Writing by giving examples
We're gonna figure it out how to do it.
of
It works, we got it.
awards you have received. And follow up, what makes for a good grant application?
I like it.
Follow the instructions.
And here's your next,
Meet
the
your
next,
deadlines.
you guys want
After it's done.
you want the grant question, right?
Yeah,
All right, so I'm gonna put that as, I'm just shading the ones that we like, we have a little
We
system.
gotta find money somewhere.
well, Ms. Minden has to be creative.
This is your other question, Dave. It's far more direct. Describe your direct involvement and experience with economic development.
Yeah, I have, that's something that the town needs
Okay.
to offset the residential tax base. They're approaching it from a couple different angles, particularly with infrastructure. And looking at that, that's why I was thinking it's kind of more of a selectman question, because that's something that is.
It can happen again at both levels,
Yeah.
because you want to flush that out to present. If those are if the big issues are grants, and the
Specific
things,
types of
we highlighted them in the profile, so they should be thinking about, you know, what does the community want out of this
That's how I
individual?
approach these questions.
Yeah.
I had the profile
Yeah,
next to it and, you know, my first pass at it was which ones,
yeah.
you know, which of these questions address these, and economic development was.
Mhm.
I think the economic development question is important. This one is kind of open-ended, so if you want to tighten it in any way, by, you know, do we say, the town doesn't have a, you know, I'm just saying, it doesn't have a defined economic development strategy. Can you talk to us about
How you
your
create that.
experience? Yeah,
Okay, but can well,
We do have a board, right, but they're not active?
they're meeting now.
Oh,
Yeah, they haven't.
but I don't want to say that then, because
Yeah.
you don't want to.
But I did ask a question at the end too, which kind of ties in economic development and other things. Mendon recently approved its first master plan, a roadmap to what Mendon will look like in the future. How would you approach implementation to ensure it is a true working document? Economic development is a chapter in there, as well as other things. The schools are in there, parks and rec are in there. It's a more of a wide range question, but it would hit economic development. We don't want it to be a document that, you know, we worked on for 2 years
oh,
and
yeah.
nobody looks at it.
Yeah, just put it on the shelf. I've seen that
Right.
happen.
Right. So that's why that was important to me, that, you know, how are you gonna implement something like that, or help implement?
Okay. So some of the other ones are, what is your biggest success? What has been your biggest success in a job? They can,
Everybody prepares for that question.
Right.
yeah.
That's not like.
What has
That's not
been
a
your
surprise.
biggest challenge in a job? Please give an example of how you manage change in an organization, such as a reorg or implementing new
22.
systems.
I like that question because currently right now, Mendon's going through a lot of change
Okay,
and we're growing. So I'd be curious to have an understanding as to what this individual,
okay.
understanding that they've probably looked at, I think they've looked at the town, have an idea of where we're going or not going. How they might
Change
answer.
management.
Should I broaden it to a change in the community and the organization?
Good.
Okay, this question I like, you guys might not like it, but we ask it a lot. What questions did you prepare for that we did not ask? We asked that at the last question, just to see
I
what
kinda like
the,
that question.
you don't?
I do.
Okay,
Yeah.
just
My
get them
note-
thinking.
I'm sorry.
And then we had three, these I think might have been yours, Ellen?
These are my questions, yeah.
Yeah, Mendon recently approved its first master plan, a roadmap to what Mendon will look like in the future, hopefully. How would you approach implementation to ensure that it's a true working document?
So that,
Yeah,
I just felt like that also, like I said, includes economic development, it includes. I mean, you're not gonna implement the whole document at once, it's a
right, no,
10-year,
it takes,
you know, it's a 10-year plan, but, and it moves, things
It's
move,
constant.
and it'll be updated.
it will be updated.
And then Ellen asked, and I like this question, describe what your first year in the position would be like. That could be the second question after they do their intro, just to get the conversation flowing. You know, when you go into an organization, what's it like for you? What are you gonna do? Because if they're coming in with guns firing and willing to turn the place upside down, I don't know if the community is that kind of a community, because you want to know, you know, what they're, they got to get the lay of the land, right?
Yeah.
And then describe it,
Sometimes I
just,
get the answer, Mike, that, you know, I'd sit down with all the stakeholders and do this and, you know, and learn what their needs are and all that stuff. I'd vote for a candidate that said, okay, it's March. You know, I'm gonna be doing this, you know, in terms of the operating budget. We've had enough repetitions over the years. We know what we're doing every month of the year, you know, and someone who can respond, if we can elicit that from, you know, from them, who would just say, you know, start date is probably gonna be February 1. You're right in the middle of the budget. So how are you gonna meet with all the stakeholders and keep the engine running at the same time? You know?
do you want to ask that question that way? Instead of what would you do in the first year? Or let them figure it out, you know. That could be a good follow-up question, Jim.
I think it's a better follow. Yeah. Yeah, it's a better follow.
So I could put that in the question, possible follow-up.
Okay.
And the last one Alan put down was describe an instance in which you successfully obtained a competitive grant for a previous employer. So we kind of got that one covered already.
We have that covered.
So I'm gonna take that out.
So we didn't go over 22, I think you skipped it. I think it was just because of where it was at. This is something that I think is key because there are opportunities out there to maybe share a resource. We've done it with our dispatch. We've done it a little bit with our fire chief, right? And there, in order to get maybe some benefits, and we did it with our planner. So there are opportunities out there to share with other small municipalities near us, a resource that maybe we don't need full-time here. And that could save the town money by only giving a part-timer or whatever. So I thought it's an interesting question. I thought it was interesting. I don't know if you guys think it should be a select board question or if it should be us question.
Well, we've actually implemented that element at the Board of Health level with association with other towns with
Actually,
this with COVID, the partnership we've created, Blackstone Valley. So that whole concept is very important, I think.
And it saves money.
That's
Yeah.
right.
I mean, if we grow bigger and you want to bring that person full-time here, then you make a change. So I don't know what you guys.
So where are we on our count, Mike?
Okay, I'm gonna give you
Because
that. I think, Jim,
I agree with Ellen. I like the question.
I just want to follow up your point there, Jim, so I remember follow up.
I'll leave you alone.
You are
He's typing it, 'cause I can't
likely
do that.
to start in the dead or in the beginning of budget season. How will you go about building a budget and keeping all other aspects organization running? Okay, so this is what I have. Let me go through our definites. Our first definite is tell us about yourself, your interest in public service, and why Mendon. Our second is describe your first year in this position, what it would be like, and then the follow-up is your question, Jim. So if you want to, we'll decide who's going to ask each question at the end. Our third one is describe your specific role and responsibility in developing municipal and capital budgets. I think that's important. So that's 3. Our fourth is describe your human resource, labor and employee relations and collective bargaining experience. 4, describe a professional mistake you made and what you learned from it. 5. We did not pick describe a conflict you had with an elected or appointed official and how it was resolved. Do you think that's important?
I think we said no on that, didn't we?
Okay.
We're not
Did
gonna-
we say it was going to be a select board question?
Yeah.
What is your leadership style and how do you feel this has made you successful? Oh, we like this one. What strategies have you implemented in previous organizations to make them more collaborative? So that puts us at 7. How you help the select board do its job. No one liked that one. What do you think Mendon's biggest budget challenge is? We didn't say that. Please describe your experience working with schools and in particular a regional school system. That would be 8. Describe your experience working with independently elected boards and commission and a follow-up with a focus on those who appoint their own department head. So that's 9, right? How do you prioritize issues that arise? And what system have you implemented to keep all select board members informed within the parameters of the open meeting law? I think that's important because I did hear from a couple, I think I heard from a couple select board members that the chair is always advised, but sometimes others in the day. So describe your communication skills, styles, and methods across all stakeholders. I don't know if we took that one.
I think we said it was covered in the leadership style one.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, we covered
that goes.
Yeah, we covered it in a couple of places.
Describe your experience in grant writing by giving examples of awards you have received in the past and what makes for a good grant application. I think that's 10. Describe your direct involvement and experience with economic development. I want to broaden that one to your point, like what have you done let's hold off on that one. Your biggest success to date, Please give an example how you manage change in a community or in an organization, such as a reorg, new systems, etc. That one we had. What questions did you prepare for that we didn't ask? And then Mendon's master plan.
So the master plan, I think, could be worked in with the economic development stuff. Or follow-up.
That's everything, though. A master plan is,
Master plan, that's very broad, yeah.
It's a broad brush with the economic development, because that's, we've got revenue tax.
Yeah.
But we gotta figure out how to get
Mhm.
the others, which is the grants and economic development.
Probably
Six,
this,
seven.
what you did not ask should be the last question, right?
9, 10. Yeah,
There was one new one that I had come up with, I don't know if it would be appropriate or not. It would be to, we wanted to ask
We have
the candidate if they could provide a brief SWOT analysis. I don't know if you're familiar with that term or not.
A brief what?
SWOT, it's an acronym for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and
we
challenges.
want that one.
I've
One
seen that
question,
asked before in the processes, to give
You
their
usually
view
do
of
that
what they
in
think.
a specific thing, though, you're saying, you know.
one question we kind of touched on, but we didn't vote, is what are your thoughts on partnering with other municipalities for delivery of key services? Do we want that one? Is that an issue here?
It kind of goes to more like budgeting or cost savings. It's that type of question.
Can we,
But it's a big deal.
is there a
Yes,
way
we add it to
a
something.
hybrid, doing a hybrid with the, what was the, there's another question. We might be able to link it with another question. What the heck was it? Oh, you work with grants? Yeah, you work with grant agencies. The whole concept is trying to maximum, get value for every
For our
dollar.
dollars, yeah.
You're trying to get value for every dollar, okay? So you do that by seeking outside grants, you do that by
Okay.
regionalizing with other towns.
Yeah, where is that?
Can we,
No,
make-
that was the extension of the number 19, I think, when talking about state and federal regulatory, when we broadened it into the grants.
yeah, I think we all agreed to remove the regulatory aspect of it
Yes.
and put the
And
put
with
the
grants
grant
stuff.
aspect in it.
Yeah.
So on that, Jim, do I frame the question as Mendon does not have, Mendon has a residential tax base. Therefore, its resources is somewhat fixed in terms of ability.
There you go.
What is your experience in generating with grants, one? And two, what is your experience and thoughts on regionalization to potentially save money?
I like that.
I like that.
That-
one.
Yeah,
Yeah. Two-part question.
Okay,
right.
Yep, that's real good.
okay. So we have 15, we just need to cut one. Well, actually, by doing that, we're good.
Yeah, give it a-
Well,
yeah.
we're good.
So I'm gonna run through them one more time, so I hate to bore you
Can
guys.
I ask,
You're not boring.
can I just ask a question that I found with our last, not our friend here, but our last administrative assistant who was not present a lot, lived in far away and didn't come in and spent a lot of time in Florida as well. I mean, do we have any protection against that? Because I think that they need to be more present.
I don't think that's
Am I
for
wrong?
us.
You would
I don't
do
think
that.
That's for us.
Yeah, that's a
the select
contract
board.
question.
Yeah.
Okay, I just felt that that was really problematic.
Yeah.
You may
Okay.
get something when you ask the first question about why Mendon.
Okay,
You may get an
Yeah.
inkling of what they're thinking in the first,
right.
about that.
I just, again, I, having never played this game before, but I felt very strongly about, like I went there lots of times looking for grants for the Board of Health stuff that we were doing and looking for, and couldn't find anybody to
Nobody.
get anything, not do it, so I just wondered. If we, I would like to see someone more present, but.
Yep. Like Dave said, that's a
Okay.
contract question, I think,
Right.
with the select.
Yeah, just define the scope of work, the hours.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
and they didn't put any parameters in their job description for residency or how far away to move.
Yeah,
Should we-
Usually that's defined
stay away
by
from
bylaws.
residency questions, that's.
Yeah, I just didn't.
The housing market.
It's all individual. It's
Yeah.
really the individual,
Right.
because where I live, we have somebody who lives 45 minutes away, but the person's outstanding, so
Right.
it's, they show up, they do their job. It's an individual thing as
Right.
opposed to.
Kevin, no?
And we had a residency requirement for the first 50-something years of our charter, 70 years.
Oh, yes.
I don't know.
I'm not in favor of a residency requirement.
No, I wouldn't say that they need to be a resident, but I would say they needed to be
You're asking if we should,
present.
I'm thinking,
You know.
Well, I guess
are there
what's,
questions
Because
that
it
we
was
should,
really.
we should forward to the select board to see if they.
That's,
They're gonna
that
do.
might be Mike's
That's
job,
Mike.
Mike and Mary's job.
because they may have another series of questions they might give to the board that they should ask or potentially ask the candidate.
Yeah, I expected they will.
That's good.
Yeah,
And they're gonna, actually, in every situation where I've been involved in this, the board will sit down and each of the individual members will suggest one or two questions. And in addition to what else is generated, I've actually written the question myself for the board to ask, so.
I'm happy so far, Mike, that
Yeah, it's nice.
we've got the questions that really do tie out to the profile document.
So I rewrote that question, Jim. Mendon is largely a community with a residential tax base and is constrained in its ability to generate new revenue sources. As a result, we look to grants and other effective cost options. 2 questions. Please share your grant writing experience with us, as well as your thoughts on regionalizing municipal services.
Oh, my,
Good.
you did that on the fly, that's
That's
really
really
good.
good.
Yeah.
Have to pay the big bucks.
No wonder you're getting good.
Yeah,
I don't care what Mary said about you.
yeah.
You gotta know what you're dealing with here.
I know him. I've been with him for 30 years.
We love him.
Joyce, you and I go back almost 40 years. Right?
I know, that's really scary. I was only 6.
Yeah.
So I think we have it. The question now is, who's going to ask what question?
So we should be each asking 2. Maybe if you go through them, we can just say, I'll take that one. Should we ask 2 in a row or no?
That's up to you guys.
Go around twice.
say go around twice.
Yeah, that way they have to keep.
Yeah.
Keep
Searching
it
the.
on their eyes.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Keep 'em awake.
yeah.
Ellen, I tried sandbagging you once already. in
Yes,
this
you
meeting, but
did.
The very first question, you're the chairman of this group, so maybe the
All right.
very first question,
That's fine.
unless you had others that you really wanted
No, I'm not
to
married
be
to
the
any
one
of
doing
them.
it.
The
Okay.
first
One
question's
question,
fine.
did we cover the budget process? We talked about that, right?
There is
Yeah.
a
There's
question in budget.
Okay.
Budget and capital planning.
That's okay.
Yeah, capital planning and budgeting.
Okay, good.
So Ellen's the first question. Jim, you kind of spoke a lot about, describe what your first year would be like in the follow-up budget season. Want to take that one?
Okay, I don't want, sure.
I have no preference. Whatever you want to give me.
All right.
Start plugging
And we
names.
may juggle these around.
Also done that.
Okay,
It's collective input we're getting.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all agreed to what they are. It's just.
Yeah, who's going to ask it?
So the next one is to describe your role and responsibility in developing municipal and capital budgets.
John,
Sean, okay.
He looks like a budget guy.
he's a budget guy.
And then the next one is the HR question and experience with collective bargaining and the like.
That's that one.
Okay,
Yeah.
Describe a professional mistake you made and what you learned from it.
I'll take that one.
You can relate
that's
to
a
this.
mistake.
It could be staring at them.
My calendar won't.
Then I'm late. That happened to me too. These. These two. What is your leadership style and how have you felt this makes you successful?
I have that.
You can. Okay. What strategies have you implemented in previous organizations to make them more collaborative?
I'll take no.
In one round.
There you go.
We're so damn collaborative. Private sector went crazy. Monocrat.
Okay. Delete. Please describe your experience working with schools. Boy, the timing is perfect, Sean. It falls right into it.
Now you're coming right around again.
Yeah. Your experience, yeah, that was him. What did? No. Oh. Describe your experience working with independently elected boards and commissions.
I can do that,
Okay, good.
since I am.
Yes. How do you prioritize issues that arise and what systems have you implemented to keep all select board members informed?
I can do that.
David,
What are the two?
question, I just wrote it, I lost it,
Uh-oh.
but I can rewrite
That's a
it.
real good one.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
jeez.
man.
It's
Well,
a-
we got,
I'm gonna put it with you,
That's the best
Jim.
one of the night,
I
kid.
know, I gotta figure out how to find it.
is this TiVo?
Describe your direct involvement with economic development. Oh, we didn't have that one.
Like can I have that 25?
25 is you.
Okay.
Gotta get rid of these. 25 is give an example of managed change in a community organization systems. That's Joyce.
Where's the transfer?
What questions did you prepare for that we didn't ask?
I'll ask that.
Okay. And then the master plan question.
I think you have to.
Whatever, that's good.
Anybody wants this
And
one?
that-
I want to see how somebody implemented master plan.
And the last question is, what questions?
Is that the same as, do you have any questions for us?
Oh, the last
Yeah, the last question is, what questions did you think we were gonna ask? What did you prepare for?
So it has to be you, Joyce, right?
She has
Oh,
one.
she has two questions?
I gotta count them over. Let's see
Sounds
what
like
we got,
15
Joyce.
questions to me.
One. Well, we'll keep that last question in case this time. Jim, you got two. You got the
Oh,
question that I forgot. I mean, that I deleted by mistake that I have to rewrite
Oh,
on.
good.
Yeah.
Get the blank.
So I get to.
Just make it up.
Yeah. No, I'll take his,
Yeah, it was good.
yeah, I'll try and sound smart.
It's freezing in this room.
It's cold, I don't know.
Jeez,
It's
I'm
not
glad
like
somebody else is thinking that too. I'm sitting on my hands.
Who doesn't have two questions?
I have two.
I have to.
I think. Does everybody have two?
Yeah.
It's not.
Oh, yeah, I think I was the last one to get this second one.
Phil, do you have two?
This
Yeah.
one.
There you go, master plan, the, whatever else.
Something else.
Okay. The one question we didn't ask is about economic development, though.
Oh, wow, that's a big one. That's really important.
We must
What
have
do we wanna
15
lop
questions
off?
then.
We're asking another one. Somebody takes three.
How about, can we add it to that one, to 4?
That's pretty big on so.
We've got to, yeah, we've got to have that. So anyone
You
can.
want to get rid of the professional mistake
Yes,
and what you learned from it?
Yeah.
I'm all for that.
Okay,
Yeah,
And I'll take the economic one.
all right, there you go.
say,
That's a good,
he can pick up some.
you're real time right now, right?
Yep.
Yeah, we wouldn't know if it was a real mistake, we'll just pick it up. Have
Yeah.
a
Everybody's got it.
ready answer.
So I'll send this out to you guys, or
Okay, all right,
I'll send it to you, Ellen.
Yeah.
Once I clean it up, and then, we'll
You'll
get
send it
it
to
out.
us.
I'll
Yeah.
disseminate it.
I just want to write this, so if I
Yeah.
ignore you for the next 3 minutes, I'm writing that.
I learned
question.
earlier in the meeting not to.
I may go to the bathroom.
There's one right outside the door.
That fits into items not anticipated.
It sounds like Monday, we would do the 2 meetings.
That's what I was anticipating, that's why I did that.
Process humor.
I just want to get through this whole decision, we're gonna have a meeting every other day. For
Boy.
48 hours. After we get this decision. I'm working on it, it's gonna get real time. You know, we should be ready for the board, and we can't talk about it. And then we're gonna socialize it.
I think the bigger question is, Jim had mentioned this at the last meeting, that most administrators have certain clause in their contract. That they have to give a certain notice.
Right.
So if it's an unamicable situation, the person might be able to say 2 weeks and they'll say, yeah, good, go, that kind of thing. Or if it's we're gonna hold you to the contract and we don't want to see you go, and that kind of thing.
Mhm.
6 weeks is a norm, right? Somewhere 4 to 6.
Yeah, I've seen 3 months,
That's
but you can apply,
Nobody wants to hold
vested,
that.
you can apply vested time against that. So if you've
Mhm.
got 15 vacation days on the books or something or like
They're gonna
that,
take it like that.
that it tapers off that way.
All right.
Sometimes that just happens.
Santa parade starts at 7.
My son just sent me that.
Surprises don't happen very often.
Yeah, it's usually what's going on.
Yeah.
All right, do we, while you're typing, Mike, are we done discussing? Can we adjourn?
Yeah.
Okay, so I need a motion.
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
For a second.
All right? All in favor, we're adjourned at 5:18. Gonna stop recording.
I review you too.
Right.
Okay, I got it. Not as good, but I don't feel good, but I got it. None of this community, the tax base is almost all residential.